Hello, True Wolverine 87 here. Many people, particularly in the United States and even other countries abroad, are afraid to take pictures or even carry a camera out in public anymore. They fear that they will be stopped by security guards, employees, or even the authorities, just for photographing for leisure purposes. In this post-9/11 era, people have become overly suspicious of others. In fact, there was one instance not so long ago that made news headlines, where two grandparents were taking pictures of their grandson inside a shopping center and were caught by mall security and instructed not to photograph, or they would have been asked to leave. It's situations like these that several people don't want to risk getting themselves into. On the contrary, the photography laws and rules are not as broad and strict as several people believe they are. In fact, I would like to share with you 5 of the biggest myths, misconceptions, and downright lies about photography that our society continues to assume and embrace. And the problem is, if we continue to accept these absurdities and pass them on to others, all we're doing is limiting and restricting ourselves, and we're not exercising our legal rights as photographers. Myth number 1. It is illegal to take pictures of other people without their permission. The actual truth is, if you're in a public area, you are legally allowed to take pictures of other persons without their consent. And yes, technically this does include children, despite the overwhelming number of parents out there who object to it. The only time where it would be unlawful to snap someone's photo is if they were in a closed space where they were entitled to their privacy. And what I mean here would be like they're going to the restroom, changing clothes in their home or in a fitting room or locker room, or they're in a hospital room. And of course, we all know that's a no-no. Another possible situation would be where they're entering their PIN number at an ATM machine, or at the cash register, or if they're filling out paperwork with confidential information on it, such as an address, phone number, or social security number. These types of scenarios are what I'm referring to. So, as a photographer, you can lawfully go into an airport to take pictures of travelers, or in a shopping mall to take pictures of other shoppers. And yes, photography is legally allowed in airports and malls, which brings me to the next myth, that you cannot take pictures of private property without permission from the owner. If it is private property that the public is allowed on, whether it be an airport or a passenger train station, a shopping mall, a department store, or even an office building, you can take pictures of whatever you want without having to talk to the owner or supervisor of the property, provided that there are no signs prohibiting photography. Once again, you can also photograph anyone that you want who is also on the property, provided that you respect their aforementioned rights to privacy. Also, if it is private property that is restricted and off-limits to the public, but you're in a public area where the property is visible, you can take pictures of the property provided that you do not trespass onto it. A third myth that people believe is that if you get caught by an employee or security guard taking pictures and get confronted by him or her, they can ask you to delete the photos you took or even confiscate your camera. Employees and security guards actually have very limited rights as to what they can do to you. Virtually all they can do is ask you not to take pictures, and if you refuse to do so, they can ask you to leave the property. They have absolutely no right to destroy your personal belongings, whether it be the pictures that you took or the camera itself. They cannot do this even if they have a sign on their door saying that photography is off limits. In addition, if they challenge you any further, whether it be asking you why you're photographing or even asking you who you are, you do not have to explain or identify yourself. It is technically no business on their part, and plus, they may be invading your own privacy or even be guilty of bullying or harassment. Another big myth that we get told is that buildings cannot allow photography due to security reasons. They may tell you something along the lines of, "We cannot allow cameras, the entire building is securitized." Although security or this post-9/11 anxiety is what receptionists, security guards, or employees tell you as the reason not to take pictures of their property, very rarely is it legally justifiable or acceptable. If you were to approach the exterior of an office building to photograph it, or even go inside to take pictures of the architecture in the lobby, there is no possible way to prove that doing so will threaten or endanger the safety of the workers in the building. Taking pictures of a building does not necessarily amount to attacking or sabotaging the property. Finally, a lot of us seem to buy into the myth that photography is illegal in many places and situations, and this is foolishly false. Here in the United States, as well as in Canada, the United Kingdom, and Australia, very rarely do the laws restrict photography. The only places where photography is completely outlawed are in certain government buildings, in nuclear facilities, on military bases, or any other similar places where it could be deemed a threat to national security. Another time where it would be illegal, and this one is very important, would be taking pictures of a copyrighted work such as a painting, cartoon image, movie poster, book, or television program. In certain cases, it may also be illegal to photograph inside a courthouse or other similar civic building. And I know it is restricted in Australia and the United Kingdom, but I don't know about the United States and Canada. Other than that, that's pretty much it. So this basically means that, with the exception of a person's privacy behind closed doors, in any other place photography is legal. Despite popular opinion, you are allowed to take pictures of each of the following places or situations: an accident scene or structure fire, an emergency vehicle responding with lights and sirens, emergency personnel, residential, commercial, and industrial facilities, movie celebrities and music artists, transportation facilities and structures, riots, protests, and demonstrations, and Superfund or toxic waste sites. In conclusion, if you be honest with yourself, you will actually find that there are a very limited number of restrictions on taking pictures out in public. Some security guards, employees, and police officers out there seem to act as though photography is a crime, as they continue to harass photographers and falsely accuse them of safety or security threats, when these people are in reality just enjoying their legal rights. People shouldn't have to be overly worried about others who are actually ignorant of the law. In almost all cases, photography does nothing but good for ourselves. It enables us to do such things as see places we've never visited, show others what we witnessed or encountered, or even remember some type of memorable event. Photography opens us up to the outside world, and it gives us a chance to demonstrate ourselves as free individuals. If unknowing people continue to challenge our rights, they're essentially doing nothing but violating our rights to freedom. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for listening.